Right now we're interviewing Dengue Fever, so why don't you start by introducing yourself?
I'm Zac Holtzman, I play guitar.
Hi, I'm Nemol. I'm a singer from Dengue Fever.
My name is Senon, I'm the bass player.
I understand that you recently appeared in a documentary. Could you tell me a bit about that?
Yeah, we went to Cambodia together, and we documented Nemol going back to her home country. She hadn't been back in about 5 or 6 years, so she got to see her mom. And then we also got to play this music that we were so inspired by in front of Cambodians and kind of document their reaction to it all.
We played with master musicians. We collaborated with these young kids that were being taught by these master musicians. One of the funniest things that I realized when we were there is that we hadn't played a show outside the United States, and then our first show outside the United States was in Cambodia. It's kind of a bizarre thought. We've traveled all over the world since then, but it's kind of weird that we went like halfway around the world for our first foreign show. But I guess for Nemol, it actually was her first home show.
Yeah, it's so exciting for me, because for 5 years in the United States for me, and then we come back together, play music with Dengue Fever. Those guys are Americans, so we still play Cambodian song. And for me, it's still nervous and a little bit exciting, but we do great, so people like it because Zac sings Khmer. Yeah, he can sing Khmer, and then we go on TV show live, and after that, a lot of phone calls to, wow, that's great. I thought you the Hollywood star singing English.
Yeah. It's all in the film called Sleepwalking Through the Mekong is the name of the picture.
Nemol, I understand your family was musical. Could you tell me a bit about that?
Yeah, it's my parents. They are traditional Cambodian, like sing from the wedding and make a joke, like make people laugh and talk and sing. That's my parents.
That's even hard to describe in English. That's hard to describe in English.
And then you and your sister.
Yeah.
Her sister was like really.
Where's that? Is that close to us? I see.
They both performed for the King and Queen of Cambodia.
Yeah, so my sister, she's the singer from Cambodia, so a lot of Cambodian people, they know her. Exactly. I'm a youngest in the family, so there's more pop and more rock and roll.
I have a question for Senon and Zac. How did you discover Cambodian popular music?
Okay, I found it when I traveled to Cambodia in 1995, years before this project even came about. And when I was there, I was, naturally interested in the music. And so at the time, you would go through all the old markets, that's tarped, and, they'd be selling, sides of meat and piles of vegetables and, unrecognizable stuff. And then there would be a big boom box, all these cables coming out of it, plugged into all these little boom boxes, kind of like the mothership and all these little baby. And you would like see a picture you like, and you'd say, I like that, and then they would make a dupe of that cassette for you right on the spot. And I didn't know what I was buying, and I was just going by these old, real funky paintings on these cassette tapes, and when I started going through them, I started realizing, a lot of this music was from the 60s, and I had no idea at the time that they had such a vibrant psychedelic music scene back in the day that it began. So that's kind of where my interest in music started, but I think it was Zac. I know it was Zac's and his brother's idea to come up with the crazy idea of making a band out of this.
As I understand it, in Los Angeles, there is a Cambodian community there?
It's in Long Beach. Cambodian community is more like a large Cambodian people, they live. And also I worked at the Dragon House before I met Dengue Fever, so, and also it's
I'm just thinking, she worked at the Dragon House, And when we first started, we were getting
Yeah.
offered all these great shows on Friday, Saturday night. We had to turn them down because Nemol would be working at the Dragon House. We'd
But
say,
now
how about a Monday? Do you got any shows
Yeah,
for us on
Monday? You want to play Monday? We're like,
Monday
yeah.
weekend.
So then finally, it all worked out, so we got to play the better shows, and she had to start telling Dragon House, "I'm sorry." And so then we titled that our second album, Escape from Dragon House.
And then the owner says, Nemo, how come you go to with the band? Because here, your job. Your brother said, I'm sorry, that everything happened. So can you let me go to tour with the band, just start? That I remember that. The owners, they are Chinese, but they're very nice.
She was like the
Now
bad,
they escaped too.
she was like the bad child to the Dragon House. She was
Yeah,
like the
because they
naughty-
need
You owe us
me.
3 more years of singing.
Yeah.
I'm wondering, what did the owner say when they found out about the album title?
I
I don't know.
think they don't understand because they're Chinese.
Yeah, we're going to Hong Kong in a couple weeks.
Yeah, we are.
So,
Where are at?
In Cambodia, do you find that there are people who are sort of rediscovering the music, the Cambodian music from the 1960s?
I think Sissimut is Cambodia's most famous singer, and he wrote most of the songs that we liked, and so he's always been famous. It's kind of like saying Neil Young or Elvis or the Beatles or something like that. And so in Cambodia, he's always been known, but I think the younger people kind of pass it off as old music, not really into that, into hip hop, into R&B, into like canto pop or something different than this original music. So I think we might be kind of shedding light on that old music and the original music in a way that's making the younger folks kind of get into it a bit. But they always know about it. They know the singer. They know all the songs. Everybody does.